Hi there, friends. Cold night, isn't it? Name's Griffin. Have I got a frosty tale for you? You might not believe it, but one year there almost wasn't a Christmas. Welcome to the North Pole. And you know who the #1 citizen is? Santa Claus.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! A toast! Well done!
Everything was perfect. Until this next day, of course. Paperwork. Lots of it. The tycoons call it end of the fiscal quarter. Remember, kids, Santa is a toy maker, not a businessman. So he brought in people who could help. Executives. Executives don't do any work, but they sure love their meetings. But most importantly, they love to complain.
The elves are demanding a dental plan and emotional support candy after they visit the dentist.
The reindeer keep asking for frequent flyer miles.
We're still giving toys for free. That's bad for profits, right?
We could at least charge a little for the wrapping.
Maybe a subscription service. Santa Prime.
We could do away with the free shipping.
Leave it to the adults, trying to fix things that were never broken. But there was one adult in particular, a man who never left the naughty list, despite working for Santa. Edgar. Edgar didn't like toys. He didn't like kids. But most importantly, he didn't like losing money.
We are losing money!
And right about then, the North Pole got a little colder.
Let's review, shall we? We build millions of toys, hand-painted and crafted by creatures who want to be paid in cocoa, lollipops, and fun. And what do we get back?
Happy children?
Happy children. Adults don't invest in happiness. They invest in returns, dividend checks, and shareholder value. Do you know what that means?
That we're really nice?
It means we're really broke.
Sir, Christmas isn't about money. It's about
Expenses. Glue, paint, glitter costs are up. Reindeer feed through the roof.
Manufacturing costs, distribution.
Exactly. We are losing money faster than elves eat fudge. And one man is responsible for all of it.
Who, sir?
Santa Claus.
But who will deliver the presents?
We'll automate. We'll cut costs. We'll use the post office.
And that was that. 500 years of joy and magic, soon to be gone with the stroke of a pen.
Those end-of-quarter reports are finished! We're ready to start planning for next Christmas!
Santa Claus, you are fired!
Fired? This is my home!
Not anymore! Get out and stay out! Your services are no longer needed.
The spirit of Christmas was truly lost on Edgar. However, it was not lost on Santa's chief elf and oldest friend.
Old friend, I guess this is goodbye.
Is it true, sir?
500 years! Never missed a Christmas, never late with a delivery. And now, fired. Fired from my own company.
I always said bringing in those executives was a mistake.
I thought they'd help me make things easier. I'd focus on the toys. They would focus on the business.
What are you going to do now?
I think I'll teach.
Teach? Where?
Boston.
Boston. Why Boston?
J.D. Marsh's blueberry muffins. Mwah. Once you've had one, you never forget.
I'm coming with you. Someone's got to make sure you don't lose all that Yuletide cheer.
So it began. Santa left everything behind. His red suit, the reindeer, the sleigh. None of those belonged to him anymore. He was just an old man without a job. He and Myron left and began their journey. But Boston was far, far away. Trains, planes, and automobiles. A long journey without reindeer and a sleigh. The J.D. Marsh Muffin Company was gone. But things were no better in the North Pole. The elves were fired, as were the reindeer, replaced by automation, artificial intelligence, and robots. And so the world's most beloved bringer of joy did what many do when their dreams collapse. He got a job in academia. Professor Chris became the new professor of contemporary mythology. Ironic, isn't it? Meanwhile, Myron enrolled in law school. He was taught by the finest legal minds in Boston, the partners at Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. Meanwhile, trouble was brewing in the North Pole. The elves wanted Santa Claus back.
Sir, the elves are outside protesting.
Release the Yeti! The Yeti will prowl until employee happiness improves. That should fix the morale problem.
The reindeer cashed in their frequent flyer miles and headed to Florida. In Boston, Professor Chris found that restoring faith in myth was not so simple.
Myth is memory disguised as wonder.
Like Santa Claus, right? Guy who breaks into homes and eats your cookies?
Bradley James Whitaker, age 19. When you were 7, you left chocolate chip cookies and oat milk by the fireplace. You and your dog Melvin fell asleep waiting for Santa Claus. Perhaps if you had a little more myth and magic in your life, and you didn't leave oat milk for Santa, you might find some happiness in your life. Or maybe even get a girl. Seriously, oat milk.
Oat milk. Dreadful stuff. Back in the North Pole, Edgar was showing that his greed had no limits. He sold ice cubes to penguins, charged polar bears for parking. He turned the elves' home into condominiums and evicted them. He even had a yard sale. Worse, he charged forest creatures for phony Santa photos.
I like money!
Meanwhile, Santa reconnected with his old friend Sam, master toy maker and inventor and creator of the Constructo toy. For multiple generations, the Constructo toy allowed children to build buildings, robots, gizmos, and widgets, anything their boundless imaginations could imagine. A toy that inspired countless girls and boys to become engineers and scientists. It was an amazing toy, but one day it was gone.
What happened to your toys, old friend?
Executives. More specifically, a man named Edgar.
Uh-oh. This sounds familiar.
He sold my company, fired my staff, and I was out of a job.
Sam began to spin a yarn. Edgar really was naughty. He was responsible for company after company going out of business. Short-term profits, a quick sale, consolidation. Perhaps the worst was Santa's beloved J.D. Marsh and their famous blueberry muffins, all destroyed by Edgar. However, not all was doom and gloom. In Boston, fate was about to enter Santa's life.
Who is that? She seems so kind.
Her name is Evelyn. She teaches at the elementary school.
Oh my, I'm sorry. I must have spent all my money on school supplies for the children.
Please, let me help.
Thank you, sir. You are very kind. A real gentleman. What's your name?
Professor Chris.
And just like that, Santa got his first date in 500 years. Soon, one date led to another, and another.
Oops.
And another.
Oops.
Over time, a romance blossomed. The months went by, and finally another Christmas had arrived. A Christmas designed by Edgar. Planes, trucks, and more trucks. The deliveries went out.
Faster! Time is money!
Getting the gifts across the globe without sleigh or reindeer was one problem. The rest was up to the postman. All to be delivered on Christmas Day. For a moment it looked like Edgar achieved a Christmas miracle. However, it wasn't just gifts that were delivered. Every child got an invoice, or bill. A bill due upon delivery that their parents would have to pay for. And they were charged for everything. Shipping fees, fuel costs, handling fees, various taxes, and other assorted nonsense. But one thing was for sure, Edgar made a lot of money. The first Christmas in 500 years to turn a profit. A big one, but not everyone was pleased. The whole world soon knew there was a problem. Every country, every nation, All across the globe there were reporters asking just one question. Where is Santa Claus? Government leaders were consulted. Bills were passed. The brightest minds were consulted. But there was just one man who could answer. Professor Chris.
That's it! Enough is enough! Edgar must be stopped!
What Santa didn't know was, right at this moment, at age 558, Myron was about to become the oldest person, but youngest elf, to graduate law school. After passing the bar, he became the most feared sort of lawyer, a litigator. And litigation was exactly what was on his mind. And on one faithful day, the pieces fell into place.
I've got it! This is it!
At their weekly ice cream social, Myron would tell Santa the news. And this indeed was big news.
The Santa Claus.
What?
In North Pole law, in the event that Christmas ceases to provide joy to the majority of recipients, the role of Santa Claus must be restored to its rightful guardian. And that, dear friend, that's you.
That old parchment? It's written in crayon.
Maybe, but it's legally binding in elf court.
And just like that, the tiniest lawyer from the North Pole found the biggest legal loophole in history. The Santa Claus clause. Santa knew what this meant. Leaving Boston.
Evelyn, I have to leave for a while.
It must be something very important.
It is. And it will be very difficult.
Follow your heart. I'll be waiting for you when you come back. That's a promise.
It was at that moment when Professor Chris told Evelyn who he really was. However, I suspect she knew the entire time. The journey back to the North Pole would be far from easy. There would be no more trains or other public transportation to the North Pole. Edgar, now an aspiring real estate tycoon, planned on what the adults call gentrification. High-rise condominiums, exclusive ski resorts and golf courses, celebrity chef restaurants, and, of course, plenty of parking for private jets. He hoped to attract the most terrifying creatures of them all, yuppies. Whew. Dreadful creatures. Edgar learned that Santa was coming back.
Release the Yeti!
The Yeti was angry and hungry. But Santa had an idea. Santa made a new friend, and not a moment too soon. Court was in session.
Hear ye! Hear ye! The North Pole Court of Festive Justice will now come to order.
Your Honor, Edgar's story has more twist than a candy cane dropped in a hot cup of cocoa.
Counsel, that argument is thinner than tinsel. My decisions were strategic.
I suppose firing Santa was festive optimization?
Order in the court.
And it went on for hours. Legal arguments, back and forth, back and forth. But finally, the judge reached a decision.
After careful review, I find for the plaintiff, Santa Claus. Effective immediately, he shall be restored to his position, and the defendant shall hereby refund all monies taken.
Edgar was not happy.
Grr! 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 Edgar, you're fired! Your services are no longer needed. Release the Yeti!
Help! Help! Help!
Santa was back, and so was the magic of Christmas. The elves went back to work. Santa used Edgar's money to reopen all the businesses he ruined. J.D. Marsh blueberry muffins made their triumphant return. Santa built Sam a new factory in the North Pole. Most importantly, Santa married Evelyn. And she became Mrs. Claus. Santa brought back the sleigh and reindeer, and off he went. The next day, Christmas was restored. Children around the world rejoiced in joy. And Bradley found a note from Santa, the name of a girl who was never on the naughty list. And Edgar? He was arrested for something called unlawful enrichment. Well, kids, that's about all the time I've got. Remember, the world needs myth, wonder, and a little magic. And Santa, along with Mrs. Claus, are here so we never forget that. See you soon.
I shall have my revenge.
Grr! Grr! Grr!
Santa Claus will meet again.